Have you ever stopped and asked yourself why some people seem to achieve everything they touch, while others struggle endlessly no matter how hard they work? Imagine walking into a room full of opportunities and feeling as though the world is yours, not because of luck, not because of timing, but because you act as if success is already your reality. What would your life look like if you carried yourself today as the person you aspire to be tomorrow? Picture it: the confidence, the clarity, the magnetic energy that draws opportunities straight toward you. That energy, that presence, doesn't come from wishful thinking. It comes from a deliberate choice to embody success before it manifests. Most people wait for proof, waiting for the world to validate their worth, but the truth is, the world responds to those who already believe. Now, I want you to pause and reflect. What would happen if you decided right now to start acting like you've already made it? Not pretending superficially, not putting on a mask, but stepping fully into the mindset, the habits, the courage, and the discipline of someone who has achieved their goals. You see, there's a strange power in this approach, a magnetic force that shapes reality. When you start operating from the future version of yourself, your decisions, your priorities, your interactions, they all shift. Doors that were invisible before suddenly appear. People who would have ignored you now pay attention. The challenges that seemed impossible now feel like puzzles you can solve. That's not luck. That's the result of aligning your actions with a vision so vivid that your present self can't help but rise to meet it. Think about it. Every successful person you admire had one thing in common. They acted ahead of the evidence. They took steps, made choices, and carried themselves as if the life they wanted already existed. And here's the kicker. It worked because the world responds to confidence, to clarity, to people who believe in their own capability even when no one else does. This is not arrogance. It's understanding a simple, profound truth. Your future self is not some distant figure. You are already capable, already deserving, already equipped. So I ask you again, if you could step into the version of yourself who has already achieved greatness, who commands respect, influence, and fulfillment, what would you do differently today? What choices would you make? Who would you become? That decision, that choice to act as if, is the first step on a journey where success is no longer something you chase, it's something you inhabit. By the end of this speech, you'll understand exactly how to tap into that power, how to make the invisible visible, and how to transform your life from ordinary to extraordinary. But first, you must commit to thinking, moving, and living as though your success is not a dream. It's your present reality. Let me tell you a story. Imagine a young person, full of ideas and energy, but struggling to find their place in the world. Every day they face rejection, setbacks, and doubts, not from lack of talent, but from a world that seems indifferent. Most people in that situation give up. They wait for permission, for recognition, for proof that they're worthy. But this person chooses differently. They make a decision that changes everything. They decide to act as if they are already successful. They start speaking with confidence, taking bold steps, and making decisions aligned with the life they envision, even when the world hasn't yet acknowledged it. The shift is subtle at first, almost imperceptible, but it's powerful. Their mindset begins to radiate outward, influencing their actions, their choices, and eventually the way others perceive them. You see, success is not just about what you do. It's about who you become in the process. When you act as if you're not pretending, you're training your mind, your body, and your emotions to operate from a higher level of possibility. You are signaling to yourself and the universe that you are ready, that you are capable, that you are deserving. And the world responds. Doors open, opportunities emerge, and people begin to see the person you are becoming. That is not magic. It is a law of human behavior. People are drawn to confidence, vision, and commitment. When you embody success before it manifests externally, you create a ripple effect that transforms your environment. Here's the key principle: every action, every decision, every choice you make should reflect the person you aim to become. Are your habits aligned with that vision? Are your thoughts and words reinforcing it? Or are you acting from fear, doubt, and limitation? The truth is, no external circumstances can make you successful if your internal state is disconnected from your goals. Acting as if bridges that gap. It trains you to think strategically, to persist relentlessly, and to embrace discomfort as a necessary part of growth. Think about it this way: if you wait for the perfect moment, for the ideal circumstances, for validation from others, you will spend a lifetime chasing shadows. But when you act as if you are already where you want to be, everything changes. You start to make decisions that a successful person would make, even when the outcome is uncertain. You start to embrace responsibility. Take ownership of your growth and rise above fear and hesitation. The people who achieve greatness are not waiting, they are acting. They are choosing to inhabit the mindset, the habits, and the behaviors of the successful long before the results show up. And that's the foundation we are building here, the art of becoming, even before it is recognized. Now let's get specific. Acting as if isn't just a mindset, it's a series of deliberate, daily choices that align your present actions with the future you want. Think of it like training a muscle. You don't wait to be strong to lift heavy weights. You lift heavy weights to become strong. Likewise, you don't wait to be successful to think, speak, and behave like someone who is. You start now. Begin by shaping your environment to reflect the life you desire. Surround yourself with people, experiences, and information that elevate you. The world responds to energy, and your energy is defined by the signals you send. When you act as if You're sending a signal to yourself and to the world that your time is now. Here's the first practical step: clarity. Get crystal clear on what success looks like for you. Not vague dreams, not wishful thinking, but concrete, vivid, undeniable clarity. Write it down, see it in your mind, feel it in your body. This clarity becomes your anchor. Every decision, every choice, every interaction is now filtered through that lens. Acting as if without clarity is like setting sail without a map. You might move, but you won't reach the destination you intend. The second step is behavior alignment. Observe yourself, your habits, your routines. Are they consistent with the version of yourself you want to become? If not, adjust. Success is not about luck. It's about consistent alignment between thought, action, and identity. You cannot claim to be successful while holding on to fear, procrastination, or self-doubt. Acting as if means consciously replacing limiting behaviors with empowering ones. It means making the hard calls, taking responsibility, and stepping into discomfort without hesitation. The third step is emotional mastery. Acting as if requires managing your internal state, not letting external circumstances dictate your mood or your energy. Confidence is cultivated, not demanded from others. Practice gratitude. Focus on solutions instead of problems, and carry yourself as someone who has already faced challenges and emerged stronger. When you manage your emotions, you create a magnetic presence. People notice, opportunities multiply, and momentum builds. Finally, consistency is everything. Acting as if it's not a one-time stunt, it is a lifestyle. Every day you show up as your future self. Every choice compounds. Every interaction, every decision, every effort, even when unseen, is shaping the reality you are stepping into. Momentum grows silently, then suddenly, visibly, irreversibly. The person you want to become isn't waiting for you. They're already there, and your job is to meet them. Let me take you deeper. Imagine someone who has faced failure after failure, someone who has been told no more times than they can count. Most would shrink, retreat, and settle for less than they're capable of. But there's a moment, just one moment, where everything changes. That moment comes when they decide to act as if success is not just possible, but inevitable. They start walking into every room, every challenge, every conversation with the belief that they already belong at the top. And here's the incredible part: the world begins to mirror that belief. Opportunities appear in ways they never could have imagined. People start to trust them. Doors open. It's not magic, it's the magnetic force of someone who embodies the future before it exists externally. Now, let's break it down. Emotional transformation is the hidden key to this process. Acting as if isn't about pretending. It's about deliberately aligning your feelings with the person you're becoming. Fear and doubt may arise, but they no longer control your actions. You train yourself to feel empowered, confident, and resilient even when circumstances suggest otherwise. This is not optional for those who want extraordinary results. It's required. Because your emotions dictate your energy, and your energy dictates your influence, your decisions, and ultimately your outcomes. Here's where most people fail. They think success is external. They wait for evidence, for validation, for circumstances to be perfect. Acting as if flips that equation. You are now the creator of your reality. You begin to respond to life from a place of power rather than reaction. You choose courage over comfort, long-term vision over short-term gratification, and purpose over distraction. Every action becomes a building block, every challenge a stepping stone. This emotional transformation is contagious. You start influencing your environment, inspiring others, and attracting what aligns with your elevated state. Let me paint the picture: someone wakes up, and instead of starting the day reacting to emails, problems, or opinions, they started as if their success is already here. Their posture, voice, decisions, and mindset communicate confidence and clarity. They're no longer asking permission, they're commanding their space. That energy creates momentum that compounds over time. Others notice. Opportunities that were previously out of reach now appear, and the seemingly impossible starts to feel normal. The lesson is simple but profound. If you want to change your life, you must first change your internal state. You must embody the success, the influence, and the fulfillment you seek. Act as if you already have it, and watch the world align itself around your vision. Now, let's get tactical. Acting as if isn't just a mindset. It's a disciplined practice, a lifestyle built on consistent habits and intentional rituals. Success doesn't arrive by chance. It emerges from repeated, deliberate actions that reinforce the person you are becoming. Ask yourself, if you were already successful, what would your daily routine look like? What would you prioritize? What would you say no to? And how would you invest your energy? Those answers are your blueprint. Acting as if means implementing them today, even before your circumstances demand it. Start with your mornings. How you begin the day sets the tone for everything else. The future version of yourself doesn't scroll endlessly, react to chaos, or give energy to distraction. They meditate, journal, visualize, exercise, or read, actions that prepare the mind and body to operate at peak performance. Each small ritual signals to your brain, your body, and your environment that you are serious about who you are becoming. These are not optional habits. They are the scaffolding that supports your elevated state. Next, examine your interactions. Successful people do not waste time on negativity, envy, or trivial arguments. They engage with clarity, purpose, and confidence. Acting as if means speaking and listening from that elevated state. Every conversation, every email, every handshake is an opportunity to reinforce your identity. You are communicating not only competence, but credibility, presence, and authority. People respond to that energy in ways that amplify your progress and influence. Another critical habit is deliberate learning. The person who acts as if they are already successful doesn't wait to know everything. They commit to learning relentlessly. They seek mentors, experiment, and refine. They approach challenges as opportunities for mastery rather than threats to ego. This relentless pursuit of growth accelerates transformation. Acting as if is inseparable from cultivating a mindset that sees every obstacle as a chance to level up. Finally, consistency is your secret weapon. Habits compound silently. One day, 1 week, 1 month of acting as if may feel awkward or uncomfortable. But that discomfort is the indicator that transformation is happening. Each action, repetition, and decision compounds your confidence, your skills, and your results. Over time, the person you are becoming becomes undeniable, both to yourself and to the world. Acting as if is no longer an effort. It becomes your identity, your magnet, your reality. The future version of yourself isn't waiting. They're already here. Your responsibility is to step into their shoes, carry their energy, and make every choice reflect their level of success. That is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. Fear is the silent enemy of every person striving for greatness. Doubt creeps in like a shadow, whispering that you're not ready, that you're not enough, that you should wait. But let me be clear, the future version of yourself, the one who has already succeeded, doesn't wait for fear to vanish. They move in spite of it. Acting as if means acknowledging the fear, feeling it, but refusing to let it control your actions. Every time you act as if in the face of fear, you expand the boundaries of what is possible for yourself. Resistance will appear too. People may question you, circumstances may push back, and obstacles will arise. Acting as if doesn't eliminate these challenges, it transforms your relationship to them. You begin to see resistance not as a sign to stop, but as a test, a signal that you are on the right path. The future version of yourself doesn't shrink from discomfort. They lean into it. They treat setbacks as feedback lessons and opportunities to refine their strategy and strengthen their resolve. Now, here's the crucial insight. Fear and doubt are inevitable. But what separates those who succeed from those who don't is the action you take despite them. Acting as if gives you the courage to move forward when your mind screams to retreat. You start to realize that discomfort is temporary, but the growth, the transformation, and the results are lasting. Every time you act in alignment with your future self despite fear, you are training your identity to expand. You are proving to yourself that your capability exceeds your current circumstances. Here's a practical approach when fear arises, name it. Acknowledge it. Then ask yourself, if I were already the person I want to become, what would I do right now? That question is a pivot point. It pulls you out of hesitation and into action. Acting as if transforms abstract courage into concrete steps. And once you take one action, momentum begins. Fear loses its power because it is met with evidence. Evidence that you are capable, strong, and resilient. Finally, remember this, every successful person you admire has faced fear and doubt. What made them extraordinary was not the absence of fear, but their decision to act as if they were already equipped to handle it. You can do the same. Embrace fear, confront doubt, resist complacency, and move forward with the mindset of someone who has already succeeded. That is how transformation becomes inevitable. And how acting as if becomes the most powerful tool you have to shape your reality. Success isn't just personal, it radiates outward. The person who acts as if they've already achieved greatness doesn't just transform themselves, they transform the people and environment around them. Influence is not about manipulation or authority, it's about presence, clarity, and consistency. When you carry the energy of someone who has already succeeded, people naturally listen. They pay attention, they are drawn to your confidence, your decisiveness, and your vision. Acting as if is the foundation of this influence because it signals to the world that you are reliable, capable, and worth following. Leadership is another extension of acting as if. You don't wait for a title, position, or recognition to lead. You lead through your actions, your integrity, and your commitment to your vision. Every choice you make, every word you speak, and every habit you cultivate sets a standard. People notice. Influence grows quietly but powerfully like roots spreading beneath the surface. Leaders are not born. They are forged through deliberate alignment between who they are and who they aim to become. Acting as if is the forge. Impact emerges naturally from influence and leadership. Once you start living as your future self, your decisions begin to affect others positively. You become a magnet for collaboration, opportunity, and progress. People want to be around those who carry certainty, competence, and clarity. You create environments where others are inspired to rise, innovate, and succeed alongside you. Acting as if is contagious. Your energy, mindset, and presence ripple through every interaction, shaping outcomes in ways that feel effortless yet deliberate. Here's the practical takeaway. Every interaction is a chance to act as if. Whether in business meetings, casual conversations, or even social media posts, your posture, tone, and focus communicate your future self. Small, consistent expressions of confidence and competence accumulate into massive credibility. You are building a reputation long before the results arrive. Finally, understand this. The world responds to who you are becoming, not just what you have achieved. Acting as if shifts you from a reactive participant in life to an intentional creator. Your influence grows, your leadership deepens, and your impact multiplies, not because you are trying to impress, but because you are embodying your highest potential. Every choice, every action, every decision is a reflection of your future self, and the results follow naturally. Acting as if is not just a mindset, it is a practice of influence, leadership, and impact. It transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results and ensures that your legacy begins the moment you decide to step into your future self. Resilience is the cornerstone of acting as if. The person who truly embodies success doesn't break when life pushes back. They bend, adjust, and continue moving forward. Setbacks are inevitable. Obstacles will appear. Failures will knock at your door. But acting as if means refusing to let these external events define your trajectory. Your future self has already navigated challenges, and by stepping into their mindset today, you begin to see setbacks as temporary, not permanent. Each challenge becomes a stepping stone, each difficulty a teacher, and each failure an essential part of growth. Persistence is inseparable from resilience. Acting as if requires showing up consistently even when results are invisible. When motivation wanes or when the world seems indifferent, it's the daily, disciplined choices, the repeated actions aligned with your vision, that create the momentum which eventually becomes unstoppable. Success is rarely a single leap. It's the cumulative effect of small, purposeful steps taken with unwavering faith in your future self. Momentum is built quietly, silently, until one day the results become undeniable. Here's a strategy. Commit to micro actions that reinforce your future self's behavior every single day. Maybe it's dedicating 30 minutes to learning, sending a crucial email, making a difficult call, or practicing a skill. These small actions compound, like drops of water forming a river. You begin to notice a subtle but undeniable shift in your energy, confidence, and results. Acting as if transforms effort into exponential growth because every choice you make carries the weight of someone who has already succeeded. Equally important is mindset management. Resilience and persistence thrive when your internal narrative aligns with your goals. Speak to yourself as your future self would. Replace doubt with belief, complaints with solutions, and hesitation with decisive action. This internal alignment becomes a magnetic force, attracting opportunities, resources, and people that reinforce your trajectory. Acting as if creates a self-reinforcing loop. The more you embody your future self, the more your environment responds accordingly, and the easier it becomes to maintain consistency. Finally, remember, momentum is the result of repeated alignment between who you are today and who you intend to become. Every challenge you overcome, every moment you persist despite fear, every choice you make in alignment with your future self strengthens your identity, your capability, and your trajectory. Acting as if is not just a temporary tactic, it is the engine of lasting achievement. Resilience, persistence, and momentum are not external rewards. They are the natural consequence of becoming the person you were always meant to be. Let's talk about purpose. Acting as if isn't just about personal success, it's about creating impact that lasts beyond you. The person who has already succeeded understands that influence and achievement are amplified when aligned with a higher mission. Your daily actions, habits, and mindset are not just for yourself, they become the blueprint for others to follow. Acting as if allows you to step into that space of meaningful impact before external validation arrives. It positions you as a leader in your own life and in the lives of others. Legacy is built in the present, not the distant future. Every decision, every conversation, every choice to act with integrity, courage, and vision compounds over time. The person who acts as if has already considered the mark they want to leave on the world. They don't wait for a title, recognition, or achievement to start influencing. It begins with the energy they carry into every interaction. People notice consistency, they are inspired by action, they follow authenticity. Acting as if is the bridge between who you are today and the lasting impact you will leave. Scaling influence requires deliberate intention. Ask yourself, how can the person I am becoming contribute to others, to my community, and to the broader world? Every email, every meeting, every decision is an opportunity to act as if you are already in the position of influence you desire. You are shaping perception, creating trust, and building credibility. Over time, these small, consistent actions create an ecosystem of influence that compounds exponentially. Your presence alone begins to catalyze transformation around you, making your success and purpose inseparable. Here's a truth many overlook: purpose fuels persistence. Acting as if without purpose is temporary. Obstacles and setbacks can derail anyone who is only chasing results. But when your actions are anchored in meaningful goals, aligned with your values, every challenge becomes bearable, every failure a lesson, and every victory a testament to consistent alignment with your future self. Purpose transforms the act of acting as if into a movement, an unstoppable trajectory that influences everyone and everything in your sphere. Finally, understand that legacy and impact are not abstract. They are living, breathing consequences of your choices today. When you act as if you are already the person who is capable, influential, and purposeful, you begin to inhabit a reality where your influence spreads naturally, your leadership strengthens, and your impact multiplies. The future you want, the life you envision, the mark you are destined to leave, all of it begins now through deliberate, aligned action. Now it all comes together. You've learned how to act as if you've already succeeded, how to embody the mindset, habits, and actions of your future self. But knowledge alone is not enough. Transformation happens in the moment of action. The person who achieves greatness doesn't wait for perfect conditions. They create them by stepping fully into their potential today. Acting as if is your bridge from who you are now to who you were always meant to be. Every thought, every habit, every choice is a signal to the universe, to others, and most importantly to yourself that you are ready, capable, and deserving of extraordinary results. Imagine looking back a year from now and realizing that everything you desired began the moment you chose to act as if. Every decision you made aligned with that future self, every fear you faced, every step forward compounded into undeniable momentum. The world responded, doors opened, and opportunities multiplied. That isn't hypothetical. That is exactly what happens when you commit to living as the person you want to become. Right now, let me remind you, acting as if is not pretending. It is preparation, discipline, and alignment. It is saying to yourself, I am capable, I am deserving, I am ready, and living in accordance with that truth before external circumstances confirm it. It is about mastering your mindset, building habits that reinforce your vision, embracing discomfort as a catalyst for growth, and creating momentum that can't be stopped. It is about leading, influencing, and impacting while never waiting for permission. And here's the secret: the future version of yourself is not a distant figure. They already exist inside you. Every choice you make either narrows the gap between you and that version or widens it. When you act as if, you shrink the gap. You begin to see opportunities that were invisible before. You gain confidence that was previously dormant, and you start to create results that once seemed impossible. Your influence grows, your impact expands, and your legacy begins the moment you choose action over hesitation. So today, make the decision. Step fully into your power. Speak, think, and act as the person you aspire